Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Terra Invicta, playing as the Resistance in control of a fully United States of America, plus Kazakhstan. Yes, I know. Oh, it's the USA and Kazakhstan starting moves. Everyone's doing that. Yeah, but that's because it's so gosh dang good. Kazakhstan, for, its very meager position and a rather small stature in the world, provides more boost than freaking NASA in the United States, and I need boost. I need as much boost as I can get my hands on, because I don't have a lot of faith in my skill to manipulate the geopolitical scene on Earth against all the AIs. I'm not going to be able to pay attention to everything. I don't even know what I should be paying attention to. I almost certainly will be getting outmaneuvered at some point or another. But what I can do is play the space game. I can rush to the next phase of the game and start industrializing space. Get loads of resources so I can build up a huge space economy and I'll just simply outscale them. That's what I'm going to do. So for that, I need a lot more boost than everyone else, and controlling both the US and Kazakhstan is my way of doing that. Of course, we do need to, stabilize Kazakhstan after we destabilize it, but it's okay. They don't need to know that. They don't need to know that. Go back to your homes. The coup's over. Whoa, why did my control points go up? I'll bet you we somehow regained... Yep, we regained control in Mexico. Yeah, that's not what I need. Sorry, Mexico. They keep trying to come back to me, but no. We are still abandoning you to your fate. I am over my cap, and I still want to make some influence. Thank you very much. I do think one thing we could try to do is start getting some public support in France and see if we can get a slice of this country. Because the Academy is currently weak, right? We've had their events where they got cracked down in half of their control points, and yet I still see that they control several key countries throughout the European Union. I really wouldn't be surprised at all if the AI does try to form the European Union, and if they're going to do so, they're going to start in France. So controlling a node over here could actually be really nice for me. We also should have a probe arriving at the moon any second now, right? There it is! Alright, we were going to use a probe to prospect the moon and find out what kind of resources they have to work with. So here's all of the sites. Okay, so early on, getting water and volatiles is very important, plus some base metals, so this would make a lot of sense for me. These are the three resources I'll be using for most of my upkeep missions and early constructions. At some point, obviously, we want to have noble metals and fissile materials as well, but water, volatiles, and base metals are all very good to start. Wow, 12.8 fissile materials on one site? Jeez. I don't know if I've ever seen anything that high before in my test games. Usually it's not any higher than like 7 or 8. I don't really want the AI to get this, if I'm honest. This feels like the sort of thing I kind of want to deny from them. Alternatively, I take both the water sources and they have no way of upkeeping. Well, I do think at the very least we want to take over this particular site, but in order to found an outpost, we need 9 boost, and I do not have 9 boost because I kind of wasted a bunch of it on a satellite on Earth, which I do sort of regret, because not only do we have boost being wasted on satellites around Earth that are only getting me a very meager benefit, but because I don't produce anything like water, volatiles, and so on, these are upkeep materials that have to get sent from Earth to those satellites, which means I'm kind of using up some of my boost right here. Technically, yeah, 0.019 is being wasted. So if I had not launched that satellite, I'd be in a slightly better position than I am right now. Okay. Well, anyway, we need to save up a lot of this stuff, so I'm going to wait until we have a fair bit more, and I'm going to wait to build up that habitat on the moon until I absolutely have to, or until I see that the AI is making a play for the moon, and I want to make sure that I secure one of those good sites before they do. Aha, we have finished with the research for deep space propulsion, and I contributed the most, which means I get to choose what the next global tech is going to be. I already kind of have a good idea what I want to do, but let's take a look at the tech tree and I can show you why. So there's a few really nice things that we could do. It would be kind of fun to go for things like the arrival international relations, then go for unity movements and great nations, and turn the US into the United North American nation. That could be kind of fun, but more importantly, we're still working on getting toward the moon. So there's a couple things we need to get. We need to get the space mining and refining technology, which means we need to get mass drivers. So that's going to be important for us. Another tech that would be really nice to have is the solid core fission systems, which would unlock the ability for me to do a faction research for nuclear freighters, which greatly reduces the amount of boost required for going to space for things like Mars, or I think also the moon. So this could reduce my boost requirements a bit. I think I might go for the nuclear fission in space first, but after that we do need to go for things like the mass drivers, and then we want to go for things like space mining and refining. There are other really cool options. For example, cybernetics is a way we can start spending money to augment our counselors and just give them extra stats with some implants. Very, very powerful, but for that, I need things like augmented reality and biotechnology. Not going to have that for at least a while. Anyway, let's go ahead and just grab a quick point in France. There, see? We snagged a point. Excellent. Again, I'm over my cap. I'm losing a little bit of influence per day, and that does hurt, but I'm kind of banking on the fact that I think the Academy is going to start forming the EU. And when they do, having a piece of the pie is going to be pretty good, because the larger this nation is going to get as a superstate, the more science I'll get, the more of its boost I'll get, and so on. I probably won't be able to take over any more of it than this until I get a lot more cap. But I can just imagine that controlling the US, Kazakhstan, and a unified Europe would be really, really, really good. Oh, here's something I'm not really happy about. The servants actually were able to claim a spot on Luna before I did, which is kind of crazy, but it's because I built a satellite and they didn't, so they actually had some boost to spare because they control Russia. Okay. Well, knowing that that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and just claim this now, even if it does have a small boost maintenance. I want to make sure that I control a good source of metals, volatiles, and water, because that's going to make my life oh so very much easier as I continue to industrialize. So let's go ahead and found the outpost. That's going to get launched, and if we click on this over here, we can see my little outpost core. It will be arriving in November of 2023, at which point, just like with the satellites, I'll be able to add on a bunch of modules. Unfortunately, I don't need any of these, at least until I can get a mine. I've decided one thing I can do that's going to mess with people is just do crackdowns on states that my enemies control that are easy for me to win in. Like, do I care about Nicaragua? No, not really. But by cracking this down, am I leaving the servants vulnerable to someone else attacking them, or at least making them scared? Absolutely. So that seems like something I could do. Oh, also I'm over my cap again. Gosh, dang it, Canada! No! Go away! I love you too. I miss you. Someday we will unify you, but until then, you're costing me too much! More UFOs are crashing on Earth, in Denver included. Uh-oh. It's weird because the ships just arrived on Earth orbit. They've traveled all this way from the outers of the solar system to Earth, and then all of a sudden they decide to immediately plummet to the planet? That just seems like either bad ship design or strangely intentional. Oh my god. Now, see, here is something I very much want to have. An organization, Orion Industries. Gives me income. Gives me better economy investment. Best of all, costs 3 admin, gives me 5. This is the closest thing to, like, free real estate that you're ever gonna get. So, absolutely I am going to be buying this. And now I can get even more stuff. This is great. I'm gonna go ahead and launch another one of these outposts and claim Korolev Crater and steal these fissiles. This is risky because it's definitely gonna cost me a lot more in maintenance from my boost, which I'm not thrilled about at all. But I really, really do not want the AI getting a huge bunch of fissile materials. You might ask why. The reason is, once you get further away from the sun, right? Let's say we go to, let's say the asteroid belt or to Mars. It's harder and harder to get power from solar collectors. If at that point, they're going to require nuclear facilities on... Ooh. The UK just joined against Ukraine, that's sad. They're going to require nuclear power plants in order to sustain any of their colonies. If I can deny them almost all the fissile materials in the moon, then it becomes unbelievably expensive for the AI to eventually start to colonize and mine out of Mars. So by picking this up, not only am I picking up a very valuable material that I will most definitely be taking advantage of myself, but I also am going to make things very expensive. The same exact justification could be made for the water. If the water also had some volatiles attached to it, I actually probably would have grabbed this instead, just because it's better for my economy. But in this case, its denial and the extra base metals is still pretty good. Oh, and Ukraine has been conquered. Boo. All right, so there's a few different reasons why the AI may want to do something like this. Besides the fact that it has to resolve a war that already exists, there are resources that can get added into an economy and stuff and just make them wealthier across the board. Plus, they get everything that was here. It could be mission control, it could be a space program, and get some extra boost, whatever it's going to be. Now, the main advantage of consolidating all under one giant supernation is you get the same amount of land for a cheaper cost than if you owned both of them individually. So if the servants controlled Ukraine and Russia and then had them fight each other and then one wins, they walk out ahead by controlling the exact same stuff, but now it's cheaper and easier to govern. So the only disadvantage to doing this is it's harder to specialize the budgets of individual nations. For example, why don't you ally with Belarus and let them focus all of their budget toward a mission control program so that Russia can focus on other things as opposed to be kind of a jack of all trades and a master of none, right? That's kind of one thing you could do, but otherwise, as a general rule, expanding your nation and controlling one really big state is probably a better way to go. Ooh, okay, there it is. The European Union now exists as an actual nation. With the Academy's leadership, they have merged France and the Czech Republic into one nation. So now if we click on this, yep, no longer France. It is, in fact, the European Union, and I control a quarter of it. All right, that's going to be excellent, because the larger this gets, the more value I will get out of this slice of the pie. It's not huge, but it's something, for sure. So the way that this works is if you control a nation, right, you have full control, you control the executive, and you control a second nation, and they're a part of the same federation together, in this case the European Union, and one of those two nations you control is the leader, in this case it would be France, then the way that that works is as long as they've been together and they've been allied and controlled by the same faction for long enough, you just click a button and boom, they unify. I actually, the first series that well, not first series, but the first time I tried playing this game, I played as the Academy in Europe, and I did this exact thing. I was able to unify pretty much this entire region of Europe by about now, early 2024. So it's a very, very effective way of getting a lot of ground, all the science, all the economy, all kind of joined up under one very powerful umbrella. And then you can start focusing on controlling other parts of the world once you have a united Europe. It's pretty fun. We have researched the returned adoptees, and we have news, but it's not good news. 2 weeks ago, the son of a senior diplomat of one of our targeted regions disappeared. He reappeared 36 hours later with no explanation. Then he started acting weird, so we followed him, and he placed a package at a dead drop location. We intercepted it and found dossiers of information on various local political figures. He had no explanation. This is not an isolated incident. It appears to be happening all the time. So once someone gets abducted and returned by the aliens, it seems like it's doing weird spy things for them. What does that mean? No idea. Now we need to research the alien operations to try to find out. The mass driver's technology is done. All right, that was pretty quick, so now we can move on to the space mining and refining. As a reminder, that is what we need in order to start extracting resources from the moon, with which I'm going to need a lot of boost. Like a lot of it. But that's one of the reasons we started working on things like the solid core fission systems a little bit early, even though it does take 5,000 research, because the faster I can get things like the nuclear freighters up and running, hopefully, the better. So this is the next thing I'm going to want. I don't think anything else here is a higher priority. Augmented reality is kind of nice, leading toward things like the cybernetics. The advanced neural network, I think, can lead to some fun stuff as well. Some of these just like straight out give you great rewards. Like by completing a technology, you get a bunch of boost, or you get some extra influence, or something along those lines. But I'm interested in space mining. That's what I want. Good old-fashioned capitalism. Get rich or die trying. Can I just point out that the Academy holds a lot of points in Bulgaria, Hungary, and Poland? You think they're going to add these guys into the EU soon? I kind of think they will. And actually, that's good for me. I know, by the way, that it does feel like not a lot is happening, right? Once we kind of got our initial setup going, oh, I should have read that. Our initial setup going, it feels like we just kind of are zooming forward a lot in the game. And that is true. That is sort of how things are going to go at the very beginning. But don't you worry, as we start getting out into space, once we start having to design a navy, once we have to fight the aliens, like, things really do start to pick up. This is all very much a laying the groundwork stage of things, you know? Kind of like playing Hearts of Iron 4 and doing all your opening moves with the national focus trees. Anyway, we have researched the alien origin, and what we have learned is there are a number of alien habitats in the Kuiper Belt. They've been here for a while. We kind of knew that. Observation of the habitats, along with re-examination, suggests that they came here, well, they've been here for a while at the very least, but they probably don't originate from our solar system. So that leaves three potential explanations. 1. They arrived in our solar system with slower-than-light interstellar craft, in which case they've been on their way here for a very long time, and now that they're here, they probably don't want to give this up. 2. Their aliens or their ancestors were here a long time ago, and then only recently awakened for some reason, no idea why. Or 3. They have faster-than-light travel, in which case they might get reinforcements and we're kind of in a lot of trouble. So either way, we're pretty confident the aliens are planning to fight over the solar system, and they are not willing to share it with the humans. All the more reason to believe that the Protectorate and the Academy are a bunch of fools. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, this is something new and big and scary. Okay, alien megafauna is now rampaging through Damascus. So only a military intervention can stop it. Yeah, so you know that xenoflora we have been talking about? If you let that stuff kind of go unchecked, or just sort of randomly this will happen, giant Godzilla monsters appear. Look at this thing. I mean, I don't know if I got Godzilla's exactly right, but the idea is a giant freaking huge life form that is capable of destroying nations, and only large armies like, let's say, the US would be able to take this down. I have no idea if I'm allowed to send my army over here to actually deal with this. Are we allowed to? Deploy the army. Can I send it over to fight in Syria? No, I can send it to Vancouver, but that's not exactly Syria now, is it? Yeah, we don't have a way of getting here. What is the issue? Is it because you don't like us? Ah, yes, you've rivaled the US. Question. Hold on. We really don't want that thing running around. That could be a bit of a problem. Can I go here? And can I manage your rivals? I cannot get you to break off with Syria unless I take them over and then change up the relationship. So you're telling me in order to do this, I need to conquer Syria, get the executive, and then say, I'm sorry, United States, you were in fact the best in the world all along, and then we can run over here and try to kill the alien. I do feel like we need to try to do that. I won't hold on to Syria, but I do feel like we need to try to do that. This is probably the servants' fault, let's be honest. They control Turkey. I'll bet you they unleashed this thing. I bet it's their fault. Whatever. So when conflicts are taking place, armies, if they run into the same territory, will start to engage each other. You can see the health bar for the megafauna has gone down to 97%. And there's no army defending here, but every province does have kind of an innate small amount of defense. So basically they're rampaging through Syria, and they are going to do catastrophic amounts of damage. But over time, the megafauna will take a little bit of damage before it then moves on to the next target. So, yeah, even if there's no army, it will get hurt, at least a little bit. Oh, cool. It looks like Russia did some missile tests. Yay. And the Alpine states has merged with the European Union. Cool. So this is all connected. At least the border gore is getting fixed. You can see, by the way, that, yeah, the value is starting to go up. There's more science. There's more boost. This is actually starting to look pretty good. The cost is going up, but not by an absolute ton. I feel like it's only gone up by like 1 point. So it's not outrageously far-fetched to say that I should probably grab a second point at some point soon. Wow, I failed in both of my rolls trying to take over Syria. Freaking figures. They both were at like 75% chance and they both failed. Come on. Space mining and refining technology is done. Excellent. So what do we want next? Honestly, I think it's time to start heading toward the cybernetics, which is kind of acceptable. It's not too expensive. Augmented reality and biotechnology are the next ones I need. So let's pick this one up. Okay, we have taken over Syria. Great. Now we go to the relationships, and we need to end the rivalry with the United States. Done. Okay, so that's out of the way. Now, I don't know if we are going to be able to send the armies over yet still. By the way, how are we looking at our cap? It's not actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. Are you guys able to deploy to Syria now that we're not enemies? Probably not, because I don't think we're allies, and I bet you that's what we would have to do next. Dang it. I mean, I hate to say it, Syria, but, like, at this point, it certainly seems like you're just gonna have to, like, go and die. Which is, like, awful, but this is what you've done. Something that's kind of annoying to me here is I got the space mining tech, and yet the faction engineering research has not appeared. At least not as of yet. So we probably need to do a relatively short research and pray that it shows up soon. I do kind of need to get the fission pile at some point. This is our best way of making energy once we get to Mars or to the asteroid belt. So I kind of like the idea of getting this. It's just a little bit more expensive than others. But I think we can still make that work. We're also about to finish out alien operations. Let's slow this down and buy as much time as possible for the stuff we want to appear. There's the outpost mining complex. Okay, see, I knew that was going to show up eventually. Cool, let's go ahead and finish this darn thing out in 4 more days. So let's see, we do now have some better understandings on the alien activities and how humans might be able to resist them. Well, that's promising. So the situation is even worse than we feared. With all the high abduction rates, they're showing that there are, in fact, political trends. The aliens are taking over key areas of the world. Specifically, they are concentrating their efforts. So that's not very good. We have a couple of theories as to the sudden change in behavior. The aliens are capable of mind control, perhaps via telepathy, a parasite, or some form of advanced technology. And 2, the aliens could be replacing the adoptees either directly or via clones. Yeah, mind-controlling aliens that are bent on human destruction? Uh-oh. So now we can research alien movements, and we can set our goals by defending the Earth. That's the next really big project for us. Again, though, I've got some other really important techs coming down the pipeline pretty soon, so I don't think I can afford to waste any time on the Defend the Earth right now. We have to go for the outpost mining complex. Nuclear freighters. Okay, so let's see. Reduce boost use for sending material from Earth to beyond low Earth orbit. That is what I am looking for, because that's going to make it a lot cheaper for me to go to the moon. That's our next big priority. So how are things looking in Syria? Amazingly, they are slowly but surely killing the xenoform thing, giant monster. I'm kind of surprised it's working. I mean, yeah, they're basically in a state of civil war. Their economy and every demographic about them is absolutely obliterated, but you know, it's still kind of cool. We are finally, by the way, below our cap. So I could start looking to take over another nation. I really would love to get another point in the European Union. Unfortunately, with these being defended, that's not looking very likely anytime soon. So, unless I get a very, very, very lucky crackdown, we're not going to be getting this. Where else could I go, though? Augmented reality tech is now done. We contributed the most, which means I get to control where this goes next. Still can't work toward the cybernetics at the moment. We could start working toward things like industrialization of space, which gets me a really, really important building called the construction module. And with the construction module, instead of launching stuff from Earth, we would be able to construct things in space. Let's say you send one of these over to Mars, right? One of the first things you send over is a core plus a construction module and some power. All of a sudden, you can use the resources we mine in space to build everything we need and save ourselves a ridiculous amount of boost. This is good. It costs 15,000 research, though, which is a very, very, very long time. Would there be anything else that's, like, better? I mean, the only other thing I could think to do that would be fun to work toward is the Great Nations, but I don't think that's the top priority, and it's going to take a lot longer. I do think that by the time we're done with industrialization of space, maybe I'm ready to start looking toward going to Mars. Let's do that one. Oh, there's the outpost mining complex, finally. All right. I don't think I can launch this yet, but we can at least see what it would take to get. The nuclear freighters takes 2,000 research. Why? All right, that's going to take a while. That needs to be, like, the absolute top priority above pretty much everything else. December of this year? Yikes. What is it going to take for us to launch our way to the moon? Okay, how much boost do we need? We've got 40 stored up. That's what most of the guides say you need. Also, notice that a lot of other people have been claiming stuff. And there goes the other water supply, so I guess I'm glad I got what I did. So let's take a look at Shackleton Crater, since this is where I want to go first. If I want to get a mine, it's going to take 57 boost? Ouch! That's going to take me, like, another few months to get, like another 4 months. By the time that I've got this, I might have the nuclear freighter tech to reduce it by a lot. Wow, dude. Wow. Okay. 65 days to arrive, by the way, and 35 days for a solar collector. Yeah, if we're going to do both of these, I need to have nuclear freighters first, I think. Wow, 57. Most of the guides that you'll find online say you only need like 20 to 40. Those clearly are out of date. Something must have been rebalanced, or it's entirely possible I am missing something crucial. These things are known to occasionally happen. All right, well, it doesn't change that nuclear freighters needs to be a top priority. I will contribute to these other techs, but we've got plenty of time on them. Looks like these guys, the Exodus project, really wants to get biotech. But if I were to contribute to this anymore, then I slow down here by a lot. We can try to boost this up by at least a month. If I'm prepared to pull back on this, we can get this in November. And I can just surrender getting biotechnology, put everything I've got, and then bid by mid-October. So in actually just over a month. 2 months. Actually, sorry, 2 months. Just over 2 months, I'd be able to get this. That is way more reasonable. And again, the faster I get into space, the better. I do think we need to be ending up this video because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be over my time here. Not an absolute ton happening in this. I mean, I'm glad to see the European Union is forming. I'm glad to have a piece of it. We're getting a fair chunk of extra boost in research that comes out of all of this. So that is certainly quite nice. However, my inability to get into space until I have a certain number of techs in place is really slowing me down. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll get there before anyone else does. I am reasonably confident that no other AI has been able to set up a mine or anything like that. There's just no way, right? Like, let's just take a quick look. Hang on. Nope, nothing there. Let's sort by Luna. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. And no, nothing over there. Yeah, so no one else has been able to build anything either. So they're also wasting the boost maintenance. I will be the first one to get here, and I will be extracting the resources. All right, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time in Terra Invicta.